Welcome back. Now, Indian-owned motor company Mahindra has signed a memorandum of understanding with the IDC to establish the feasibility of starting up a full-scale local manufacturing facility. If successful, it could result in thousands of much-needed jobs in the sector. David Furlonger, editor-at-large of the Financial Mail, joins us with more insight. David, thanks so much for your time today.
Pleasure.
So, we can't get too excited, right? Because this is still, a feasibility test, and Mahindra will come back to us in the next 12 to 18 months to tell us what their plan is, right?
Yeah, that is correct. Some of the headlines I've been reading in the last 3 or 4 days are rather getting ahead of themselves. As you correctly put it, this is the first step. I think it's still some way off. I personally believe they're still short of the volumes they need to go into manufacturing, but this will give them an idea of how they're progressing. And I think long term, or medium to long term, I don't think there's much doubt that they will go into full manufacturing, but we just have to wait and see for now and not get overexcited.
Do you think this also is just, I guess, a bode or a sign of confidence in the economy and just South Africa as a whole?
Look, Mahindra is a major company in India.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people realize this is their second biggest market. In fact, it's their biggest market outside of India. And they've been here for 21 years. They celebrated their 20th anniversary at the end of last year. And they've always made it clear that this is going to be their key market outside India, their base, I think, into the rest of Africa. And they've always had big ambitions here. So yes, I think this is a natural step towards the ambitions they've spoken about in the past.
You talked about, Mahindra celebrating its 20th anniversary in the country. And I think around that time, they also announced, a ramp up in production at that plant in Durban, right? What do the demand dynamics look like for Mahindra? Because you did mention at the top that they're not necessarily a really big player.
They're not a big player if you look in terms of the VWs and the Toyotas and the Suzukis, but they are a very, very fast growing player. They're in the top 12 in the market. They've come up almost silently. They're outselling some of the Chinese brands, which is important. And their production in their, what they call an SKD plant, which is basically a kit assembly plant, they're doing 1,000 a month there, which is not insignificant. Now they're opening a new plant in mid-year, which will take them to 1,500, still SKD. And of course, the ambition is to go from SKD into full manufacture, where most of the components and the actual manufacturing process does take part in this country.
Now, of course, this is happening, or rather, the announcement comes on the back of, vehicle kit assemblers facing some pushback, right? With car manufacturers saying that the assemblers are taking advantage of a certain loophole in the APDP. Talk to us about that.
Okay, well, the APDP, of course, is the Automotive Production and Development Program, which runs from 2021 to 2035. And one of the key aims in that, which they've now said is not feasible because of COVID, is to double vehicle production. And that's full manufacturing vehicle production. And so within there are various incentives like duty rebates, cashback incentives, all sorts of things. And the duty rebates, all of these are supposed to be for companies that go into full manufacture or what they call completely knocked down manufacture. And the idea initially was not that SKD could get this. Now, Mahindra is not the only one that's benefited. There are others who have done so as well. One Chinese company in particular has done this. And there has been a suggestion that we should go the route that Thailand has, which is by all means come in as SKD, but we will set you a target, a timetable. So for instance, within 5 years or 4 years, whatever it might be, you have to go to full manufacture. And if you don't, you will face very heavy penalties. Now, I believe that Mahindra has always planned to go CKD. It's a question of the timing at the moment.
Yeah, David, thanks so much for joining us and just sharing those insights. That was the Financial Mail's David Furlonger.